there was an information that you couldn't swallow. Okay, very metaphorical of what we say. Sleep patterns. If you have a traumatic event, do we obsess about it for a few days or even longer? And your subconscious will still be stressing about it and obsessing about it too. You just don't know that. Sleep patterns when they're disturbed is very indicative that there's some trauma going on. Hunger and thirst, our reproductive system can be affected. I know of 3 ladies that have used EFT and or Matrix that have become pregnant because there was an underlying belief. One of them was she was constantly being put down by her father, so I'm not good enough. And that transpired into trying to get pregnant. We just did 1 session, within weeks she was pregnant after trying for at least 2 years. Even the most traumatic event will have a belief attached to it. This is why we can get healing from any trauma. It doesn't matter what I've worked with clients with Vietnam war scene that he was involved in. Okay, we got resolution from that because the belief was all about the guy that actually died in the scene. Okay, it was this guy even though he was a Vietnam War vet, didn't get the respect as a human being. Okay, and interestingly, that trauma didn't hit this guy until 2 years later, when he was sitting in a canteen. Okay, so at the time, I'm just doing my job, blah, blah, blah. 2 years later, just sat in a canteen, talking to mates, and then boom. And that is where we had to go and deal with the trauma. And then go back into the picture, okay? And deal with the belief that he was holding on to. Okay. So this is my big motto here. It's not what happened, it's what you made it mean, okay? So even with sexual abuse, of course at the time it's traumatic. Of course when you're looking back on that, so traumatic. But if you're getting a physical disease such as a cervical cancer as a result, your subconscious is still holding on to some belief, okay? Common beliefs around that is, I'm a bad person, I deserved it, I asked for it. Things around that nature. So there's still a belief system there. Okay. Right. You have got a form that I've sent out. I don't know if that you have about our belief systems. Can you just, if you haven't had a look at it already, can you just have a look at that and look at what belief stands out the most for you? So rate it out of 100%. If you haven't got the form, hopefully you have, there's a list of beliefs up here. Because I want you to just pick out one, because we're going to do an exercise where it can help you to locate a memory from that belief. And it's a very simple exercise, but very effective. Okay, if you haven't got the form, maybe just use one up there. But the form has got far more. Okay, so anybody not got a belief that they want to work on? No? Okay, great. All right, so what we're going to use is a technique called slow EFT. And what we do here is, I will direct you, so I'm going to do some tapping on that belief. So, for example, does anybody want to share what their belief might be? I can't do it. Okay. Even though I have this, don't do it yet. Sorry. Even though I have the belief that I can't do it. Okay. I'm just going to go, even though I have the belief that, and then you fill in with the rest, either in your head or say it out loud. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say that a couple of times. And then I'm going to get you to go to the top of your head. And the reason this is slow EFT is because it's literally slow. Tapping on the top of your head slowly. Close your eyes if you could, because it helps you to focus. But saying the belief to yourself, okay? Just keep saying it over and over, slowly, tapping at the same time. After a while, I'll tell you to go to the next point, the eyebrow point, okay? and then after a while I'll tell you to go to the side of the eye. When you have a memory come up, and don't stress if you haven't got one, that's okay too. But when you have a memory come up, if you can just stop tapping, because that'll help me to know that that's occurred. If anybody gets triggered, please can you just put your hand up, and I'll get somebody to come and help you. Okay. So, all right. So with your belief in mind, okay. Even though I have the belief that, whatever your belief is, and just say it to yourself, I'm still a great person anyway. Even though I have the belief that, I love and accept myself anyway. Okay, top of the head. And just keep saying to yourself, whatever the belief is, just slowly. Okay, go to the eyebrow point. If you ever memory comes up, don't forget to stop. And the memory might be an age, it might be a scene that you don't quite understand. Side of the eye. Under the eye. Under your nose. Under your chin, or on your chin. Collarbone point. Okay. Under your arm. Okay, we'll stop there. All right, so it looks to me like a majority of people got a memory come up. If I actually came up to those that hadn't, invariably I usually find that there was a memory there, they just hadn't realised it because they're so used to having pictures in your head, yeah? But again, not necessarily. So, okay, now a memory would have come up to you that will be very relevant to that belief. You might not see the connection, but invariably what I find is when I go with people into the matrix and work with that younger self, it all becomes very evident why that belief is there, okay? Because what I find is too, what you're consciously thinking might be the belief in a particular memory can be quite different to what your echo is thinking. And that's why Matrix is so powerful, because you get into the real core root of what's going on. Okay? All right. Right. I'm going to do a demo. So, did anybody have a memory that came up that was very clear, that had a fairly high intensity? You did? Yeah. Would you be happy to come up and do a demo? Yeah. Yeah? Was it visually quite clear? Yes. And how intense out of 10 would it have been? 7? Okay. Yeah. And knowing that it's going to be filmed as well, you happy with that? Okay, come on. There's some stairs. Hey? Just while we're waiting for that to happen, you'll see here I've got these coloured bottles. The reason I'm going to use them is because I use them with any session that I do with my clients. They're powerful things to have. Basically, Jenny Johnson's going to talk more about the colour stuff afterwards. They're aromatherapy and fluorescences. The language of the central nervous system is colour, okay? And that's why these... hello. I'm on, yeah? Are you on?
I think so.
Yeah, you're on. Good answer. Okay. So you'll see how I use them. Not to take away from the tapping or the belief system, just as I see it is an icing on the cake. Yeah, they're a very nice element, very relaxing. Okay, so I was just explaining about the colours. And the way I use them is, I might, when we're working with you, ask you what the colour is that we're dealing with, the negative colour, and then I'll say what would be a positive to put on it. And then I'll get the equivalent bottle. You don't need to look at them. It's just whatever comes up for you subconsciously. And I will spray it above your head that you can breathe it in. Okay. Now, do you mind taking your glasses off?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Now, with Matrix, I actually tap on my clients because what I want you to do, if that's okay, is to close your eyes so that you can focus on what you need to focus on, not have to worry about what's going on out here. Typically, I'm just going to be tapping... is it all right to tap on you?
Sure.
Yeah. Typically, I'm just going to be tapping on your hands around here, unless we're tapping on your echo, in which case we'll do a full round of tapping. Okay, but I'll explain that when the time comes. Okay. So, are you happy to share your belief?
Yes.
Yep. What was that?
I must be in control.
I must be